Welcome back. The organization SuitUp aims to address the lack of diversity in corporate America and the difficulties schools face in sparking career curiosity. To overcome this challenge, SuitUp offers innovative competitions that prepare students between the ages of 10 to 18 for their future careers. In addition to character and career building opportunities, students can also win a cash prize. Kelsey English Smith, Managing Director of Partnerships for SuitUp, joins me to discuss. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, can you just explain, I said a little bit about it, but can you tell us more about SuitUp and its overall mission?
Yeah, absolutely. So SuitUp is a 501c3 education-based nonprofit. And what we do is we work to increase career awareness for all students through our innovative business plan competitions and events with corporate volunteers. So what that means is we bring students from local underserved communities into the office spaces of our corporate partner and task them with solving a business challenge that's unique to that company and to that industry. So in this way, we're really elevating student voices as the CEOs for the program. And then the corporate volunteers come in and serve as their business coaches. And they support the kids in thinking through things like strategy, marketing, finance, and design, all laid out in a custom framework that we provide the team. And then about 4 hours later, at the end of the experience, the students pitch their ideas to a panel of judges who are typically senior leaders from our corporate partner. And then the winning team of students walks away with that cash prize.
And we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about that. This sounds so exciting. But I really want to know what inspired the creation of this organization.
Yeah, absolutely. So we were actually founded back in 2014 by both a Teach for America teacher and a Wall Street analyst. So the Teach for America teacher kind of came to the table and said, hey, my students don't have access to the college and career awareness preparedness resources that they need and deserve. And on the Wall Street side of things, he was sharing, hey, I really want to reinvent what it means to actually volunteer in corporate America. Rather than painting local schools or cleaning up local parks, why don't we actually use our skills as corporate volunteers and get our students involved in programs that show them, hey, this is what you can be when you grow up, right? Give them a chance to experience what it could be like in the corporate world to start to open up some doors for them and show them, hey, this is what life could be like if you want to pursue one of these careers.
Now, why did you want to focus on students ages 10 to 18? That's a really large age bracket. So can you just talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. If we look at the landscape of education nonprofits, a lot of them are starting to focus on late high school, early collegiate years. And at SuitUp, we believe that sometimes that can be a little bit too late. So we want to start these conversations as early as age 10 to give the students the opportunity to learn about a whole host of job titles and industries that they may not have ever even heard of before. So they can start to think about, hey, how can I connect my personal interests with future career opportunities? And as a former second grade teacher, I can tell you, my kids were talking about what they want to be when they grow up as early as age 7. So we want to start these conversations as early as we can.
No, I think that's so interesting. What are the benefits of introducing students as young as 10 to career readiness programs? Because as you mentioned, people often think, okay, ages 16, 17 is when you start talking about it. But I thought it was really interesting to see that it was starting at 10. So can you just explain what are some of the benefits of that?
Yeah, absolutely. We really want to show kids how can they actually think through a career and bring in that passion? It no longer just has to be a job that they get that paycheck. Let's actually show them that, hey, I really like social media. Wait, social media means I can have a job in marketing, and marketing can actually be a really lucrative career. So starting to connect these lines as early as age 10 is going to give them this opportunity to start to follow their passions and start to build up what could my life be like once I graduate from high school.
And what you just did that I really loved is that you validated a young child's dream or experience, because I know that oftentimes when people hear, oh, I want a job in social media, they kind of look down upon it, especially for younger generations. Can you explain, the importance of saying is that something that you want to do? Here are some different avenues you can take for that.
Yeah, absolutely. You really want to nurture that excitement, that passion, right? So a lot of students, again, especially when I was teaching, I heard a lot of students say, hey, I want to be the next, Derek Jeter, right? I want to be the next Beyonce. Yet we all know that not every student is going to make it onto that field or make it onto that stage. So how can we show them that you can absolutely still follow your passion, but maybe you're working behind the scenes of the MLB, right? Maybe you're working for the Yankees and kind of on the corporate side of things, and showing students that they can still be very much involved in that career, in that industry, but maybe just in a different way. So oftentimes we might think about, okay, social media just as scrolling on your phone, but we don't think about all the business that goes into it. And the students are already, I'm sure a lot of us can attest to the fact that they are way far in advance of what we can even do on social media. So let's show them how they can use that for good, how they can use those skills to be successful.
And I think that's so great. I think it would help so many college students later down the line because as we mentioned, like we tend to start later. And if this is like the first time you're thinking about a career, you feel overwhelmed, you pick something. And then when you're ready to graduate, you don't even like what you picked. So I think I actually think this is like a really great, pathway to help these students later on down the line. Can you just talk about how your organization uses education as a tool to motivate students as well?
Absolutely. So we really want to promote that education is power, right? And showing our students that within these competitions and within the real business world, you're using things that you learn in school all the time, right? So you're using your critical thinking skills. You're using persuasive language. You're using math, X, Y, and Z. So putting these things into practice and showing students, hey, that student that raised their hand and said, when am I going to use this in everyday life? Here are the opportunities. We're going to connect that and showing them that the skills that they already have plus the skills they're going to learn from their corporate volunteers will realistically come together to really set them up for success.
Now, how do you team up with schools to help bring this vision to life?
So we partner with schools across the country, so anywhere from grades 5 through 12 to get the students involved in our programs. So we partner with principals, guidance counselors, school teachers to get the students involved. And all of our programs are 100% free for our students. So they kind of come in as an educational field trip fitting seamlessly into their school day, about 10 to 2. And the students get to, take off the hat of a student for the day and become the CEO.
Now, I think this sounds just like so much fun. I think I would love to do this as well. What is the realistic corporate challenge?
So this is the fun part. This is where we're actually going to customize it to the company or brand that we're working with. So we work with some of the top brands in the world. Snapchat, Salesforce, Chobani, the yogurt company. These are all different companies that when we partner with them, we're going to put their brand and their language at the forefront of the competition. So for instance, if we're working with Snapchat, the students might be creating a new feature for Snapchat that helps us solve a community problem. So they're peeling back the layers a little bit with their corporate volunteers who work for Snapchat day in and day out and learning, hey, what could it actually be like to put my skills to the test, be a part of the Snapchat family and create this new process for their team.
Now, how do these type of activities inspire students to achieve more?
So as I mentioned earlier, they are no longer students when they walk in that door. As soon as they walk in that door, they are dressed as CEOs. And let me tell you, they act accordingly. We always talk about that suiting up is not about the attire that you wear, but it's about that professional mindset that you put on. And you put students in a boardroom, you put them in these buildings, in these beautiful offices, and all of a sudden they become that persona, they become that professional. So it really is showing them that they deserve the seat at the table, they deserve to be there, and giving them the chance to really flex their skills.
Now, can you talk about the coaching opportunities and services in the program?
Yes. So there is a competition aspect to our program. So students in about teams of 5 to 8 are coached by corporate volunteers from the companies that we work with. So about 3 to 6 volunteers per team. So again, students are the bosses for the day, but they're coached by their business professionals. And they're talking through strategy, marketing, and design, all laid out in that participant handbook I mentioned earlier. So the coaches are really bringing in those guiding questions, pushing the students' thinking, that type of thing. But also one of my favorite parts too is when they're just kind of side by side eating pizza in the middle of the day and having those authentic conversations of, how did you get this job? Right? What did you study in school? How did you get here? So students can start to think about what track could they take if they wanted to pursue a career in that industry.
And I just love to hear that. It's so amazing because so many students don't get a chance to kind of like speak with these people, with these types of people. Because like we know, like sometimes, who you know is what helps you in life. And if your parents have never, even if they may be successful, may never been in those rooms, like this could be life-changing for so many of those kids. So I'm so glad to hear that. Now, what is the 2023 SuitUp Gala?
Yes, so we host a black tie gala every year in November. This year, it will be held at the Capitol in New York City. And this is really just an opportunity to celebrate the success of our students, the success of our year with our corporate volunteers, our donors, our teachers, our friends, and our family. So everyone gets together for a really fun night. It's not a traditional gala in a sense. So it's 9 p.m. to 1:30. It is dancing, food, drinks. And really, again, all of the proceeds are to go towards serving upwards of 11,000 plus students in 2024. So just a great opportunity for all of us to get together and celebrate. And tickets are still available on our website for anyone in the city who's interested in joining us.
Now, how can influential people and organizations get involved in this effort? As I mentioned, it sounds amazing and it sounds fun for both the students and, the mentors. So how can somebody watching, if they are a part of these like really large companies, get involved?
Absolutely. So we always say word of mouth is so powerful. we've really grown exponentially over the past 3+ years in that word of mouth, in companies sharing with, their families, their friends, people in their network. Hey, I just did SuitUp. Why don't you guys do it too? So look us up on our website, find us on LinkedIn, figure out what could this look like for your company, and just share our story a little bit. It only takes about $29 to get a SuitUp student involved in a program. So if you're able to donate, we'd love to have you donate or get involved as a corporate volunteer. And you can even join our board if it's something that you're interested in doing.
Now, as I mentioned, it's from 10 to 18, which
Yes.
it's just like an exciting, just time in their lives where they're learning so much. What is something that you've learned or that you've seen from maybe the younger students versus the older students?
I would say for our younger students, they don't have that ceiling yet. Their ideas are huge. They are big. We're talking if they're creating a new product for Nike, it's a roller coaster, right? They are thinking way outside of the box. And it's so invigorating to see what are they going to come up with next. For our high school students, especially juniors and seniors, you're seeing products that could actually be put into practice. You're seeing KPIs that make complete sense in how they're tracking success. So there's definitely some differences there, but I would definitely say do not count out those 5th and 6th graders because they have some amazing ideas.
Now, what are some other events the organization hosts? Because I understand you host quite a few.
Yes, so I would say our bread and butter program is our business competitions. From there, we now also have mock interview events where students are learning about what it could be like to interview for a job position and the skills that you need. We also have dynamic panel discussions and networking events. And now, as of 2020, we host everything both virtually and in person. So completely up to our companies and our schools what works best for them. So now zip code is no longer a barrier to be involved in our programs.
And what's something that you would say to somebody, I know like you work with different schools. What is something you would say to like maybe a school community that's, I don't know why you would be on the fence, but let's say they're not sure, this is like maybe something new for them. What would you say to get them involved?
I would say to give the students the opportunity to shine, right? Because there's so much creativity that's within them. And we know within traditional schools, sometimes that can be a little bit bogged down with testing and, all of the different formats that are currently in place. So giving the students just the opportunity 4 hours to ideate, to create, to become that boss that they know that they can be. It's just incredible to see how the students come out of their shell, and it really does boost their confidence. So I would say to any teacher or any school who's just thinking about it, contact us. Let us tell you a little bit about the success stories we've had and get your kids involved.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us and having this fun conversation about this amazing program.
Thank you so much for having me.
To learn more about this amazing program, please go to the website at www.volunteersuitup.com. Stay tuned. We have more for you right after this.